Today, we're going to talk about why men test boundaries and how you can respond to keep them hooked. And of course, I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor. Of course, today, my wife, Coach Natasha, she's taking care of her hair, getting her hair done. So, I told her to just relax, don't worry about it, just, do that and chill out. It's a Friday, so I wanted to jump on and share with you, ladies. But I'm going to give you some inside secrets on why men do what they do and how you can keep them hooked in the feminine energy way, in a feminine energy way. So I'm going to jump right into the points. Just want to shout out everyone who's on, everyone who's jumped in, even from the FEA. Welcome in. Make sure you get your questions ready. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can today. I want to get to all the questions. So I'm going to go over the few points, then I'll get to your questions. So make sure you get those ready for us. But number one, I want to go over number one. Number one reason that men test you and how you can respond in a feminine way. And really going to tell you from a man's perspective on why men test you. The number one thing they do is they test you because it's more of a thermometer, it's more of a gauge to kind of see where you are. And the thing is, most men do this without even thinking. This is second nature because that's the nature of a man. Before a man fully commits, before he fully invests, he's going to check to make sure this is worth the investment. So, just like when you come into a room, you want to feel the room out. He's filling it out. So, it's more of a thermometer, it's more of a gauge than it is anything else. Understanding where you're at, because what men are not going to do is men aren't going to place you somewhere that you don't belong. We always want to make sure we put people in the right situation. And especially as a coach, me being a coach for so long in sports with teams, I always want to make sure that I look to see what I have on the team, look to see the type of talent I have. Then I want to put them in the right position. I don't just want to throw people out there anyway. So it's certain things that we do to gauge things, to feel things out. And men do that with women when they're testing them because they understand how important it is that they don't commit to someone who may not be ready to commit or in the type of way they want to do it. Because most men, when they go all in, all their chips are in the table, and they give up a lot. And I'm not just talking about women or anything like that, but men sacrifice a lot in the sense of their time, their life. They change things around. And even myself, when I was going through that process with my current wife, I was able to make a decision, but what I had to do if I wanted to make it work at the time was I had to move countries. So it was so much I had to gauge, so much I had to kind of fill out before I made that decision. And once that decision was made, it was no issue. Everything was good. I was able to move. We were able to move forward in the relationship, but it took me some time. It took me some time before I made the decision. Of course, I have a beautiful wife, so you would think it would just be simple, like, okay, she's beautiful, everything's good, just make it happen. But no, because we have a lot going on as men. We're providers, protectors, taking care of the house, and we want to make sure that this move that we're making, as far as moving forward in a relationship, that it's the right decision because potentially some of the things that we sacrifice during that process we can't get back. We might have to start over if we try to go back to what we sacrificed. So when men make that decision to want to move forward with you, it's a lot of gauging, a lot of figuring out. Then they're usually all in. So definitely want to make sure that if a man is doing that with you, that it's not the worst thing. It's not that he did something wrong. It's not that, okay, why did he do this to me? Why is he testing me? I don't like being tested. No, in those situations, your response is not to be triggered because being triggered in that situation kind of adds to the fact like, okay, that's why I tested. That's why, as a man, I wanted to take my time because your response lets us know where you are. Your response lets us know emotionally where you are. If you're emotionally ready for a relationship because, okay, he did something that you didn't like, which is in this case, testing. Okay, don't test me. I'm good how I am. Let me test you. If that's your type of response, then that lets him know that he made the right decision by going through the process. And that's simply what it is in that situation. It's men going through the process, not making an emotional decision. Okay, she's beautiful, I like the way she talks to me, whatever. No, we have to look deeper into it because this is someone that you're bringing into your life and potentially you're making this a decision to help take care of. You're taking on everything this person has. And if this person has kids, if this person has, if they live in a certain city or environment, everything that they came from, their background, you're taking that on. And if you don't know or understand what you're taking on, you won't be equipped correctly to take on this person and all that they bring. Now, because they came from a different background or have kids, that doesn't mean that something's wrong. But what it does mean is potentially you have to approach it differently. You have to approach a woman differently that has kids, one who doesn't have kids, one that lives in certain communities, ones that have certain type of jobs. It's a different way of thinking potentially. And if you don't gauge that, if you're just looking and say, okay, because she looks like this is what type of person she is, you won't make a great decision as a man. So, women, when men are testing you, don't look at it in a negative way. Just look at it in a sense of, okay, he's interested in potentially getting to know me, potentially moving forward. Because one thing men won't do is men won't test women that they're not interested in. So even if you get triggered, understand they're not testing women that they're interested in continuing to get to know on a deeper level. Now they'll test boundaries and say, okay, I want to have sex with you or things like that. But as far as really getting to know you, going deeper than surface, when it goes deeper than just, okay, can I come over tonight and it's 10 o'clock? Okay, that's a test as well. But men who are interested in potentially having you as their wife, they'll test you in many different ways, just in your personality, just in seeing what type of things you like to do, kind of more about your background, how you grew up. They'll ask questions, digging deeper. It won't be just surface. They'll dig deeper when going into gauging to see if you're the type of person that they potentially want to be with. So I definitely want to get to all the questions. I see so many questions. Shout out to everyone that's jumped on. Definitely appreciate you for jumping on. But want to get through the next 2 points, and then I'll go ahead and answer all the questions that you have. But the second reason that men potentially want to test you is because they're stressed or maybe they have some level of fear. And this happens when men are in relationship and potentially it's some areas that they haven't 100% healed from. So it's those areas where they're trying to see like, okay, the last relationship went like this. Okay, let me see if it's any signs of, her having similar traits, characteristic traits, or anything like that. Now, with this, again, whenever a man is going through that, it's not for you to say, okay, why are you saying this to me or why are you thinking like that? If he's in a place where he needs so much healing and this just won't allow him to move forward, then it's for you to just make a decision to potentially detach from him if these fears or if these concerns are overbearing, if he's just doing too much with this, like, like, okay, dude, you need healing. I understand you had a tough relationship, but if he's bringing too much energy towards you in a negative way, then it's for you to detach. But if he has legitimate potential concerns and he's not voicing them, like continuing to say, okay, I want to make sure you're not like this. He's not saying it, but he's asking questions. He's asking about potentially how relationships were with you or what your what you consider a healthy relationship because he's trying to figure out, okay, does for her is a healthy relationship someone who, screams at her or someone who's loud with her because that shows passion, because that shows that he loves me, because that shows that he has some care, he has some ambition. Or is a healthy relationship for you someone who, understands that just like when we're doing things, at your job, you're on a team, understanding that everyone has a role in the relationship and it's a certain way of going about it, a certain way you talk to each other. Understanding that is so key because those fears and concerns are legitimate in most cases because even as women, you want to make sure that those concerns are taken care of. That's why in the Feminine Energy Academy, we always tell you, ladies, okay, make sure you have your negotiables and non-negotiables, your love list, because what that does is that literally takes the place of any fears because okay, I'm going to allow this to represent me. I don't have to, walk around concerned. No, if they don't fit this, if they don't fit my non-negotiables, then I'm going to move on from there. Basically, if it's some areas within them that don't line up, that potentially I don't feel comfortable with, then I'm going to move on. So men do similar things when they have, fears and concerns. And it's okay as a woman. It's not something personal against you. It's not like he's calling you out. No, he has these guards and protectors up just so he can make sure that even as he's making his decision, that it's not an emotional decision, that he's not making a decision and saying, okay, I feel good around her, so let's move forward. And we talk about it often. Feeling good around a woman is so key for a man, but a man, a healthy masculine energy man will never make a decision just based on how he feels. He's going to be logical around it. He's going to address his fears and concerns to make sure that this decision he's making is on point because he's making sure that he's protecting his loved ones, those around him, even his maybe potentially his work, because he's bringing you around all of these people. He's bringing you around his work crew, he's bringing you around family, close friends, and making sure that you have the personality, the attitude, the mentality, and that's probably the key thing for men. Men don't marry beauty. And this is a side note, but men marry mentality. So, how you think is what draws a man in. So, if he has any fears or concerns around how you think, then that could be something that could potentially cause things to go left. Because men understand, even though we're attracted to how you look, and I talk to so many men, so many bachelors, coach men that talk about what they're looking for. And even though we're attracted to your looks, men understand they can always help upgrade your looks. Upgrading a woman's looks can be something, even just clothes or hair, makeup, whatever. That could be done with money. But men marry who you are, your mentality. That can't be changed. So any fears or concerns around that, we want to get to the bottom of it before we move forward because you're potentially raising our kids. You're potentially helping us in the business area and whatever your mentality is. If you're the type of woman who, okay, as soon as you get a couple of dollars, you need to spend it on this, on that, and for some men that may not work. And it's nothing wrong with the women that love spending money. That's kind of in your nature. I know Coach Toss, if she's watching, she likes to spend money. But if you don't have your priorities straight in that area, that could potentially bankrupt a man. I don't care how much money he has. If you don't have a mentality that's about growth, that's about making sure we put something to the side. If we don't line up in that area, then your mentality doesn't line up. And that's probably most important for a man when it comes down to making sure he's in position to provide and protect you. So he wants to make sure you're good, you have everything you need, but the mentality around, how you see things is so important for a man. So it's important as he's going through that process. And again, you're not putting on a show, you're not acting or anything like that. No, you're just being true to who you are. If it's boundaries that need to be put up, if it's conversations that you need to have with him around it, great, because you want to have those conversations. You want to be able to put everything on the table throughout the relationship, but it's super important during the foundational stage of the relationship that you establish the things that are important to you, that he establishes the things that are important to him, and you're moving forward free. You don't have to be with him, he doesn't have to be with you. So being able to have those conversations and go through those tests, go through those moments where you're checking your list at the beginning. And I'll say this because I've talked to so many ladies and men that are going through the relationship phase, getting to know people. And one thing you don't want to do is give men or women, but to give men the benefit of the doubt during the dating phase. They haven't earned it. Okay, he didn't call you, and I'm going to get to the third point, but he didn't call you. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's done it 2 or 3 times. You're like, "Okay, I know he has a lot going on, so, I forgive him. It's just something he didn't mean to do it." Whatever story you're telling yourself, you don't wanna start off a relationship like that because now you're allowing him to break boundaries. You're allowing him to step and do things that you wouldn't accept if you didn't like him. And I always tell the ladies, always look at it like, okay, if all things were equal, if this person didn't look a certain way, or if they didn't have, okay, money, so much money in their bank account that you want, whatever it is that stood out to you about this person, if that wasn't factored in the moment and we were looking at just characteristic traits and he's not calling you, he's not following up, he's not, keeping his word, is that someone that you would want to be around? And we're thinking just in general, not even relationship wise. Is that the type of person that you want to connect with in life? If it is, great. That's your decision. But if it's not, don't give him the benefit of the doubt, because what's going to happen if things are going to continue to go down that direction. He's going to see he can break boundaries, and the nature of the relationship usually in situations like that turn into a situationship. So you want to be careful about that when you're getting to know someone. But definitely those fears and concerns that he may have conversations around them, see where he's at. And if it's somewhere that you're just not, it's too much for you, it's just overbearing, he's walking in fear, instead of really pursuing you, then you make the decision to move on. Don't wait on him, or don't wait it out until he changes because, he's such a nice guy. No, you make a decision to detach in that situation and move on. So I want to get to these questions. I see so many. Let me see. I'll get to the questions. Hello from Minnesota. How are you? So good to see you. And I'll get to all these questions just after this. But I also want to talk about Coach Tosh. She's doing a masterclass this weekend. And she's doing a masterclass and actually tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So definitely jump into the masterclass. You can jump into the Feminine Energy Academy right now. It's a free 7-day trial. So she's going to go deep into, let me see, I have to get the notes for this, the feminine detachment and mood, how to boost your mood and dopamine, also how to master your nervous system to stay detached and erase your magnetic energy. So she's going to go deep into those points. She's like I said, she's getting her hair done, but she's also really preparing for tomorrow because she has something special for you ladies. So make sure you jump in tomorrow. Camilla, how are you as well? So the third point I want to get to, and I'll get to your question, Camilla. Um, the third point with it is he's really testing to see if you're different from every other woman. And that's the thing. Sometimes women think, okay, I look different, I look a lot better, I dress different. So of course I stand out. And you'll stand out. But what a man cares most about is, Are you different as far as the way you look at things, as far as the way, you carry yourself, as far as are you different from all the situationships that he's had, or are you a wife? And the reality is, most men, and I'm talking about men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, most men, if they haven't been married, have been in mostly situationships. So most men can identify a situationship right away. They can talk to you, they can, take you out. They can see, okay, this may be strictly a transactional relationship, which we, even girlfriend, boyfriend relationships, we call those glorified situationships. So if you've been somebody's girlfriend for years and they haven't made that commitment to you, what you've been in is a glorified situationship because there's no commitment, there's no accountability to the point where you have to do something different. It may be suggested, but at the end of the day, you're living your separate lives. There's no commitment, no paperwork. So they can't tell you what to do. You can't tell them what to do. And some people like that freedom, which is okay. But in those situationships, that person can walk away at any moment without any repercussions. Just like, okay, I'm done with you. I'm tired of you. Nice knowing you. And you're sitting there holding the bag. So, when most men are testing you, the third point is they're really looking to see, how do you stand out differently? Are you a wife? Because, like I always talk about, men are looking for wives. Men aren't looking for someone who's going to potentially be a wife one day. Okay, I see the potential in you. I see you got a lot of qualities. I see you can cook well. I see, you can do this well. No, men are looking for women that are wives, that women that are nurturers, women that aren't looking for that one more hot girl summer. Okay, I'm just, or that, okay, we're going to go on our girls' trip and we're gonna go to Miami. We're gonna kick it in Miami. We're gonna get on a boat. We're gonna get on a yacht. We got some people, some of our friends down there. We just enjoying ourselves. Men don't have a problem with that, but men aren't going to commit to you if that's something that's normal, if that's something that you enjoy to the point where you have to do this. I gotta get out, because I've been working on my body, working on myself. I gotta show it off. I love you, but I have to show people what I've done, my glow up. I've had a glow up, and I can't hold this to myself. Yeah, I got you, but I want other people to see this glow up, and you're doing extra. That doesn't attract a healthy masculine energy man to a woman, to him, if he's looking for a wife. Now, you'll get so many men that'll take care of you, they'll provide for you. It'll be a transactional relationship. They won't have much to say. They won't have much to say when you're doing your thing, when you got all your body parts out, and you posting up, you taking those social media pictures, and you're taking the other person out because you took it with a guy, and you just, that was a great picture though. So you just had to put it up. Men are looking at small details like that. Men are looking at, okay, are your toenails painted? Do you take care of yourself? Do you have chipped fingernails? Men look at so many small details before, a lot of times, before even approaching you, before coming at you and saying something, and saying that they want to be with you potentially. No, men are checking everything out. So you have to make sure, if you're looking to date for marriage, if you're looking for a man who's serious about you, you have to make sure that you meet the requirements. The same as if you're looking to get that job that pays exactly what you desire, or if you're looking to start that business, you have to understand, what does the consumer want? And in this case, the consumer is the man. He's the one making the purchase. So it's not about, okay, he's got to accept me for who I am. He just got, it's what it is. Those, and the reality behind that is, a lot of times women who think like that don't separate themselves from men, because it's like, okay, that's a mentality where I can't say anything to you. I'm not able to correct you. I'm not able to help lead and guide you, because I just have to accept how you look. I have to accept where you're at in life. I have to accept everything about you without you feeling like, okay, you need to change. But if you're looking to get that job or that business, you have to make sure that resume lines up. You have to, sometimes people even hire resume writers, or you'll go on AI and change up your resume, put that word in there so they can see that that's a skill set you have. And you have to look at it the same way when you're positioning yourself to be found by your husband, by your healthy masculine energy husband. You have to make sure that things are on point, because if they're not on point, then you'll get passed up for the job. You'll get passed up for that guy, but you may get those, offers from jobs that you don't want, the job that, pays less than half of what you desire, or that business that just isn't what you want to do. You might get offers in that area, but and that's the same with the relationship. You'll get guys approaching you. And what we always talk about is it doesn't take much for a guy to be attracted to a woman. The main thing that you need as a woman to attract a man is to be a woman. That's about it. Roll up, get out of bed. If you do that, men are attracted to you. But if you want to attract a healthy masculine energy man that wants to take care of you, that wants to marry you, not just attract like, okay, he likes me. No, attract, be able to get him to the point with your energy and just showing who you are, that he wants to marry you, take care of you. Then you got to get that resume on point. You got to change some things on that resume, and don't just start making stuff up on it, but actually the change. And that's why I love even the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, and the link is below on there as well. So you can definitely click the link, jump in. Like I said, a free 7-day trial. But what I love about the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, we've had so many ladies that have jumped in there out of situationships, long term. They've even been married. They've been in different type of relationships, and even some, who haven't been in relationship in years. They've come in, been open to making the changes that work. Not coming in, okay, like this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do. No, open to listening, opening, open and accountable for why they're at where they're at. And that's the main thing. Like, you're where you are for a reason, and you're the common denominator. It's not a bad thing that you're where you're at, but it's first identifying and taking that accountability. If you're not married and you desire to be married, I was a bachelor for 30 plus years, got married at 44. So trust me, it's the accountability I had to take. I had to make changes, do things differently. I had a failed engagement, a 5-year relationship, which even right now we tell the ladies, if within the first 6 to 12 months he's not looking to move forward and talking about marriage, then you want to make sure you leave that situation in most cases. Now, it comes down to the timeline that you have, of course, but it doesn't take a man 5 years to or 4 years to propose to you. Not that he doesn't love you, but he might not be in a place where he's ready to move forward. And it's up to you to move on from that situation. But like I said, I had a failed engagement. I had to take accountability for that, because what happened is when I got into a relationship, well, even before we got into a relationship, but when I first started talking to Coach Tosh, and things weren't going anywhere, it was, hot and heavy conversations. We were in different countries, hot and heavy conversations that led nowhere. A whole bunch of, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow, but no me coming to see her. So after about a month or two, she decided to detach and move on. And like I tell you, ladies, so often when she made that decision, it wasn't an emotional decision. It wasn't let me tell you about yourself because you wasted my month. You wasted my time. No, it was none of that. It was calm. It was cool. She was in her feminine. She was direct. She let me know it's great getting to know you. But it seems like you have a lot going on right now. And because of that, I don't want to hold you up. So, enjoy yourself and good luck, basically. And when she said that, that's when it clicked for me. That's when things that's when it was like the light bulb moment for me, because I was like, okay, I've been formally engaged. Now I get to the point where someone that I want to be with, and it's some sticky energy. It's me not being able to position myself or say the things or do what's necessary to be with this person. Because it's not only about what you say, but it's about what you do. It's mainly about what you do as a man. But I wasn't doing what was needed. So I had to do what was needed, go back to the drawing board. I had to make some adjustments, get some healing, and then approach her differently. Approach her with action, not words. Because trust me, I got some words I can use, and most men do as well. Most men aren't short of words to make you feel good. They know your triggers. They know how to bring you closer to them. They know how to push you away. But I had to do the true and right thing, not just come up with a script. No scripts in this. Speak from the heart, follow through with action. 8 months after we started back talking, we were engaged. 3 months after that, we were married. So it's about the process and you as the woman, making sure you hold firm on those boundaries. You're not triggered by what he's doing or saying. You're rotationally dating, having fun, and allowing him to pursue you. You not chasing him. So I'm going to go deeper into it, but I want to check these questions. I know I've been talking. Thanks for your patience as well. I'm going through them. Um, hey, from the rainy parts, I guess that's Seattle or something. I love your videos. And then we said, I detached from my boyfriend yesterday. And trust me, a lot of times the ladies jump on here and they'll binge watch. They'll binge watch for a while. And being in situationships, and first off, congratulations, you made a decision that could potentially change your life only for the better. And if it was a situationship, boyfriend, again, we talk boyfriend, girlfriend, that's usually for our perspective on it. Boyfriend, girlfriend is usually like 12 to 15-year olds that consider themselves boyfriend and girlfriend. But when you get to our age, boyfriend and girlfriend means nothing but a glorified situationship. So it's really about him stepping up, asking you to be exclusive, doing the things to show you that he can provide for you, protect you, just be there for you. But boyfriend, girlfriend usually doesn't go anywhere. And I believe if that was the case for you, I know no, I don't know how long you were with him, but it was a great decision from making that decision to detach from him. Now is the part where getting the tools so you're able to stay detached and stay going silent from him. Because what happens a lot of times when we make that decision, as when you ladies make that decision to detach and go silent, a lot of times it's an emotional decision. It's a decision that is a decision based on willpower. Like, okay, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. But what are you have to make sure you're doing something to replace him, because he was taking up a lot of your day. He was taking up a lot of mental space. He was taking up a lot of physical space. So if it's just detaching and moving on, and now you're back on the dating sites, then you've exposed yourself to him potentially coming back, or another man taking his place without you doing the healing that's needed, so you don't find yourself in another situationship following that. So I definitely suggest jump into the Feminine Energy Academy, because we have so many audios, so many videos, so much information in there that can help you in your journey as you're preparing yourself for your husband, to attract your husband. And you don't want to find yourself back in situationships similar to that, either with him or with someone else. You don't want to find yourself in those situationships again. So great decision. Now it's the next step on you making sure that you position yourself correctly and you don't find yourself in that cycle of, okay, we broke up. Okay, he's back because he told me this. He said he gonna do this different. He promised this. So, I don't want to go through getting to know somebody else. So it's just easier. And let me know if this has been your story. It's easier if I just work it out with him, even though he hasn't done any changing. I just don't want to go through that process again. So I'm going to try it. He said he's going to do things differently. So we'll see how it works out. If that's you, trust me, that's not the cycle that you want to go through. And real quick as well, I just want to give a heads up for tomorrow's masterclass with Coach Tosh. She'll be coaching the feminine detachment and mood and the mood change. And it's important, and even for you getting out of an old situationship, just how to detach completely in the feminine way. And a couple of points she's going over how to boost your mood and dopamine, because it's those dopamine hits that you get from being in those situationships that draws you back a lot of time. Because it's those highs and lows within the situationship. And a lot of times you live for the highs. Like, okay, even though we had, an argument, we was ready to leave each other, the makeup, that dopamine hit when we made up, is what I love. When he bought those flowers, when he sent me a gift card, when he took me out to eat, when he got a hotel room, when he took me on a trip, those dopamine hits are something that you have to replace. And a lot of times, even though you don't know, it could be you chasing those dopamine hits in that trauma bond, and you're thinking it's love, but it's a trauma bond that's chasing dopamine hits. So you definitely want to jump into the masterclass tomorrow if that sounds like you. Another point she's going to go over is how to master your nervous system to stay detached. That's so key because we do most of what we do based on our nervous system, and it's an auto response. And reprogramming, mastering that nervous system helps make the change, because I don't care what you think in your mind, what you know. Let me say it this way: I don't care what you know the right thing to do. Your nervous system is going to respond based on the information that it has, or based on what's already happened. And we do it so often. We hear a sound, we automatically, in most cases, we jump, or we, get in fight mode. It's some response because that's what our nervous system is used to. So we want to make sure in the area of relationships that we're mastering our nervous system so we don't continue to repeat those cycles. So Coach Tasha will go over that tomorrow as well, and how to raise your magnetic energy in the healthy feminine energy way. So definitely jump on to be a part of that. Let me see what other questions we have. Camilla, she said, I detached 2 months ago. I felt so empowered and strong. Love to hear that, Camilla. Detaching, and if it's been 2 months, you've been able to detach. You haven't been having conversations with them. You haven't opened yourself up to be to be in a space or anything like that. That's great. And again, I always say to the ladies, now it's making sure as you detach, you have the tools to move forwards, because you're not detaching just to get out of a space. You're detaching so you can move forward in that area of your life. You don't want that area to be stagnant. You want to have all the tools. You want to be healed in that area, because it's not just relationships with men. It's relationship with the masculine that you want to make sure is healed. And the masculine is, of course, first God, making sure that relationship is healed, because it'll trickle down in every area with the masculine, with potentially, if you work a job with your boss, or any type of authority, it can be challenging if that relationship with the masculine isn't healed. So you want to make sure that you have the tools so you not only detach, but you're able to heal that relationship. So the next man, the next boss, the next opportunity, our relationship with God is healthy and strong. And once that relationship, which is the most key relationship, is healthy and strong, everything else will mirror that. So definitely, congrats to you as well. I don't know if I want to get married anymore. And again, Coach Tosh talks about this all the time. And it's nothing wrong. If you don't desire to be married, trust me, no issues. Everyone's entitled to what they desire. But what we say is always look deeper into it. Is it is it some areas in which need to be healed, especially areas with relationship with the masculine? And a lot of it goes back to childhood potentially. It could be, the lack of a father in the house, or the lack of a healthy father example in the house, because most women that have a healthy relationship with God, healthy relationship with a male figure, and it's not always your father. Trust me. Just because your father is there doesn't mean that you have a healthy relationship, but just because he's not doesn't mean that you didn't have someone, maybe an uncle, a mentor, a coach, or someone who represented the masculine energy in your life. But you want to look deeper into that. You want to say, okay, how are my relationships with the masculine overall? And it could be your brother, whoever. Is it a contentious relationship? Is it a relationship that I'm doing out of obligation, or is it a relationship that I enjoy, that I get something out of outside of me just knowing, okay, I have to do this because I'm at work. I got to respect you because, you're the person who's paying me or whatever the case. So looking deeper into that, Locks by Millie, looking deeper into exactly why you don't want to get married anymore. Is it because, okay, you're watching all these podcasts, watching everything online? People are saying everything, all these new ways of thinking and all these new doctrines on how to have relationships. Is that something that's causing you to look at things differently as well? But it all comes down to healing those relationships with the masculine. And even if after that, you decide not to get married, not an issue, but you don't want to do it out of a hurt place, or you don't want to do it out of a disappointment, an area in which you were disappointed, and now you've made a lifelong decision. You made an eternal decision based on how you feel because of what happened. And you want to make sure those relationships with the masculine are healthy, most importantly. She said she had to go, so she probably didn't hear it. Hopefully, you're able to listen to the replay, listen to it as it goes up. So, good afternoon, Renee Brown, who's in the Feminine Energy Academy. So, let me see. Very harmonic voice to listen to, full of peace, patience, and love and wisdom without bringing anyone's value down. Very rare, very unique. Thank you and big compliment. No, we definitely appreciate it. And it's really about helping you ladies. We've been able to help so far over 1,000 ladies in our communities combined. But over 1,000 ladies we've been able to help. We've seen so many women get engaged, married, because it's just like anything in life. We're going to have some areas where we may miss the mark, but it's not for us to just point that out. It's about coming up with solutions, about us sharing, because this channel is all about awareness. So we're bringing awareness. And then in the Feminine Energy Academy, we go deeper where we help you walk through the solutions on how to respond correctly, because at all points, it comes down to you. I don't care if somebody hurt you, I don't care what someone did to you. It's all about you, because everywhere you go, you are. So we want to help reprogram your mind so your mind isn't, always in fight or flight mode, always upset or angry, or, holding grudges within yourself. No, that's not healthy. That's not healthy for you. That's not healthy for you moving forward. And you making a decision to be the change within yourself. We're here to help walk and guide you through what you desire. We're not here to help walk and guide you through what we desire for you. It's about what you desire, going deeper into how you got to that place, and then helping you come up with those solutions so you can move forward. So definitely appreciate it. I don't know if we have a few more questions. If I don't get to your question, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. You can jump in right now. You can binge watch everything that's in there for free. Nothing's off limits. You have a free 7-day trial. Feel free to jump on even tomorrow with Coach Tasha's masterclass, where she's going to be talking and going deeper into detachment and give you 3 points on how to detach and stay detached. So definitely jump in tomorrow if this topic and title is a place that you've been at for a while. Because what happens is, until we deal with it, we stay in that place. I don't care where we want to be, we stay where, the place where we've actually done the work. If we haven't done work there, then we're going to be there. So we encourage you to do the work in that area. And Coach Tosh is going to go deep on detaching, because it's not just detaching from that situation, it's learning how to detach. Because I see this all the time. The more detached you are, the more you attract what you desire. Even though you're going on dates, you enjoy being around him, you can let him know that you enjoyed his presence, you enjoy the date, but you're not attached. You're not sitting by the phone waiting on him to call, or waiting on him to text, or waiting on him to do anything. No, you've moved on. If you're just rotationally dating, you've moved on in your head. If he reaches back out, great. If he doesn't reach out, great. But you don't want to be detached to anything that's not God. Anything that is taking up mental space and you can't function, like just sitting around twiddling your thumbs because you're just thinking about him. You're just thinking about what he's doing, where he's at, who he's with, why he hasn't done this, why he did that. No, staying detached in the dating phase, and even in this is just throughout life. Staying detached draws everything that you desire to you if you're in the right space mentally. So jump into the Feminine Energy Academy so you can join tomorrow's masterclass, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Coach Tosh will be on there. Jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. When you get into the FEA, reach out to Coach Tosh. Let her know why you're in there, and then she'll help guide you through the correct audios, the videos, whatever you need for your situation. She's going to help guide you. And then, of course, I have a masterclass coming up later this month where I'm talking to the ladies as well. And we have so much coming as well down the pipe with our Dating for Marriage community. We're going to actually, starting November 1st, our Dating for Marriage community, we're going to start charging in there. So make sure you get in there now. It's free right now. We're going to start going live in there as well. Make sure you jump in, because once November comes, we're going to add a fee to it, and we're going to start doing a lot of matchmaking in there as well. For those of you who are looking to connect with a person that you desire to be with, jump in there now, because once we add a fee to it, it's going to be a fee moving forward. But we want as many people as we can in there for the free. So enjoy your Friday. We'll see you on Saturday's masterclass, and we'll see the rest of you in the Feminine Energy Academy. Have a good Friday.